Hello, and welcome back to Let's Talk Chicago Bears. It's Friday. How is everybody doing today, huh? How are y'all? It's a Friday. The weekend's here, but we got to talk about the Bears. Yeah, we do. I know there's a lot of down people. I already can tell that people aren't interested in the Bears that much anymore because my viewership is down, and I don't like it. So, okay, Bears, could you do me a favor and win a game or two so people start watching me again? I mean, come on. What's up with that? I know it's tough. It is very tough right now. We were on such a high weeks ago, even though there were some losses. But there was such improvement. We were scoring points, and we just couldn't finish games. That was the problem. But now, we should have. That Atlanta game was embarrassing, and the Jets game, I don't even know what to say. It was beyond embarrassing. And unfortunately, this week, because of injuries, the injury bug really hit us bad late here, and that's going to be a problem on Sunday when we play the Packers. So we are playing the Packers. So let's get to it. Okay, the Bears are 3-9. The Bears are 4-8. Or excuse me, the Bears are 3-9, and the Packers are 4-8. Okay, so record's pretty much the same. So, well, let's just talk about a history here. So the Packers were founded in 1919, and they joined, back then they called it the APFA, and in 1921 they joined the Football League. And both these teams, the Bears, are currently tied for the most wins in the NFL. So Sunday's game is going to break that tie. So one team is going to have more wins in history than the other, and we certainly would like it to be the Bears, right? The rivalry began in 1921, and they have played more games than any two teams in the league. They have 205 regular season and postseason games. No other team has played that many against another team. There was only 2 years that the Bears did not play Green Bay, starting back from 1921. They did not play in 1922. I couldn't figure out a reason why. And then they did not play in 1982 because we all know that was the strike year. So if you were born, maybe you weren't born then, or you were too young, but there was a football strike. And interestingly enough, the old New York Saints coach, the famous Sean Payton, he was actually, they called them the Spare Bears because they went out and played, I don't know, maybe 6 games or something like that. And they were guys that said, hey, I'll play. And he was our quarterback. Yeah, Sean Payton was our quarterback, so he was one of the Spare Bears. And so they played. Those are the 2 years they didn't play since 1921. And Green Bay, of course, holds the lead. They are winning. They're up 104-95. So they've won 104. Bears are 195, and there's 6 ties. So the biggest thing is whoever comes out of this game will have the most wins in the National Football Game, and I sure would like that to be the Bears. So let's just go over a few stats real quick. Not very pretty for the Bears. We're dead last in passing again. I don't think we've ever been all season. I think we've been 32 all season. Green Bay, we're averaging 131. And we're 32nd. Green Bay is averaging pass-wise 223 yards, and they're 14th in the league. We are number 1 in rushing still, because it's been going. It's going to go down because even if Fields does play, I don't believe he's going to be running as much, but we'll see. We average 192 yards a game. That puts us number 1 in the league. And Green Bay has got a good average, too. They're averaging 121 yards a game. That puts them 14th. So that is clearly going to be a problem for the Bears defense. As we know, they couldn't stop a rabbit crossing the street. That's all I'm saying. We are average scoring 20.9 points a game. I don't know how they come up with these, but whatever. That puts them 19th. And Green Bay isn't scoring that much more than we are. Um, they're scoring, well, wait a minute, that doesn't even make sense. So it says we've scored 20 points and they've scored 19. So it's right there. They're very, very, very close. So that's a good thing. The Bears have given up, though, defense wise, over 25 yards, or 25 points a game. That puts them 27th in the league, and the Green Bay defense is giving up 23 points, putting them at 22nd. So, they hands down have us beaten the pass yards, and everything else is pretty much the same except for the passing. Because I know they're 14th in the league on rushing, but they are rushing 121 yards. So if you can get over 100 a game, you're doing just great. So it's going to be a problem for the Bears. We know that, but we'll talk about it. Fields has played 11 games. Rodgers has played 12. So Fields has only passed for 1,642. And, of course, Rodgers, way better, 2,682. So creaming us in that department. Fields has 13, and he's also played one game less than Rodgers, but he has 13 passes with 8 interceptions. And Rodgers has 21 touchdowns. I'm sorry. Bears have 21. I am still on the injured report because I'm still sick. My head is still clogged. Bears have 13 touchdowns and 8 interceptions. Did I say that? And Rodgers has 21 touchdowns with 9 interceptions, so he actually has 1 interception more than Fields. We'll take it, right? But Fields has been sacked 40. You heard me, 40 times, and he leads everybody. I think the next closest was Russell Wilson, and I think he had 35. So terrible, terrible. We have got to stop this. And the fact that he's hurt, if he's going to play, I worry about it. The Packers Rodgers has been sacked 24 times. And we do know that Fields has run 834 yards with 7 rushing touchdowns, and Rodgers has run 63 yards. He's not much of a runner, so he's not, excuse me, like I said, I'm still sick. He's not much of a threat there. Our running backs, Herbert was leading it until he went out on IR. He had 643 yards with 4 touchdowns, but he's out. So David Montgomery is leading the pack right now with 580 yards with 3 rushing touchdowns. Aaron Jones, the Packers' leading rusher, has 821, so he's good. And their second guy, Dylan, has 531 rushing yards, and they both have 2 rushing TDs. So Aaron Jones is really going to be a problem for the Bears this week because our defensive line is awful. So it's my biggest concern is, I don't think we're going to, I don't know. If we don't stop them, we're fucked. We are fucked. Our Mr. Mooney was our leading receiver with 493, but we do know he's done for the season, and that just sucks big time because Mooney was one of Fields' favorite targets. And so our next man up with the most yard is our tight end with 336 yards, 336 with 5 touchdowns, receiving touchdowns. And he's a tight end. That's just not a good thing. I mean, it's a good thing that he's got those, but you don't want your tight end being second in receiving. You want your receivers. And then David Montgomery comes in with 238 yards receiving. So these guys, Claypool, Pettis, I don't know where the hell Harry is. I haven't seen him in weeks and weeks. St. Brown, they all got to frickin' step up and start either getting open or running better routes, coming back to their quarterback if he's under distress, but they got to help out. And actually, St. Brown, I listed him. He has 195 yards with 1 receiving touchdown. We just need more receiving. We have got to start throwing the ball more. The Green Bay's leading guy is Lazard. Um, he has 533 yards receiving, and um, Tryan is his name. You know how I'm terrible with names. Another receiver has 362 yards with one receiving touchdown. So, and then a lot of them were just spread around. So he's trying to spread them around. He does have. There's Watson. He has 353 yards for Green Bay receiving with six receiving touchdowns, and Randall Cobb comes in at 349 yards, one receiving touchdown. So you can see these guys have a lot more receiving than we do. Oh boy. Okay, our defenses. We've got only 16 sacks. That's terrible. That's another defensive line and linebacker problem right there. Green Bay has 24, so going to be a problem for our offensive line. We have 9 interceptions. They have 8 interceptions. Our defense has forced 14 fumbles, but only recovered 6 of them. Green Bay has forced 7 fumbles and recovered 4. So, except for the sacks, we're very, very close. Okay. The injuries. This is the part that is just going to kill us. Last week, it's gotten better. So, first of all, Fields, full practice today and yesterday. So, I'm pretty sure he's going to play. But these 4 guys did not participate all week, and it's just bad for us. Larry Brom, our our offensive tackle, didn't practice. Brisker, our safety, our great number 9 rookie safety, did not practice. Gordon, our great cornerback, he's number 6 rookie, didn't practice. And then Trevor, our backup, did not practice. The two, well, we're going to miss Larry on the O-line, of course, but Brisker and Gordon, they're in concussion protocol, and I thought they were going to be better, but clearly not. So they're not going to be playing. Usually his rule is if they don't practice by Friday, they don't play. So, and we saw what happened last week when we played the Jets. We gave up 31 points. And I believe that had a lot to do with Brisker and Gordon not being in, because these guys have had solid rookie years. And Brisker particularly just shining, and Gordon is getting better each week. He started out a little bumpy, but he is learning from him. He's getting better. So with Brisker and Gordon being out in the backfield of the defense, it's just not going to be pretty, because, Rodgers is going to come out throwing and taking advantage of the backups, and it looks like Rodgers is going to play too. Of course, if for some reason the Bears do win this game, Rodgers will be at the end of the game going, "Oh, well, my thumb was hurt." And he'll be sucking his thumb, and then he'll be like, and then of course I have fractured ribs, so that's why we lost. You stupid prima donna. I can't stand the man. I was talking on our other show Wednesday night on the podcast that I do with my buddy Dan, and we were talking about, like Favre owning us and Rodgers. Favre, we won some games with Favre, but not with Rodgers. But I was talking about it. I said, I respected Favre. I thought he was a great quarterback, but I liked him as a person. And I know Rodgers is a good quarterback, but I cannot stand him as a person. I think he's a jerk. He treats our Bears fans terribly. He makes fun of us all the time. Favre never did that. He was much more professional. And so I don't know. I cannot stand Aaron Rodgers at all. I think that he is a prima donna. I think he's a tool. I think he's holding that Green Bay team hostage with the contract, trying to pretend like he wasn't going to come back last year. Then he got that big 3-year contract. And, if they were talking after he went out on the last week's game, and Jordan Love looked good. See, I'd rather play Rodgers now than Jordan Love, because he came in and he scored like that. And, so I heard some guys talking on the NFL channel how, they should, they're out of it. They're not going to the playoffs, that maybe they should play Love and see what they got. And but Rodgers is having none of that. He hears that and he's like, "Oh no, I'm playing now." And and they were saying it's kind of like he's holding his team hostage because he's got this huge contract for the next 2 years, 23 and 24 after this season. And if he'll be an asshole if he starts to not be great, and then they're going to put Jordan in. So he is kind of holding them hostage. I don't like him. I don't think he's a team player. It's all about him. So that's what I think of you, Roger. So a couple other things, and then we're going to talk about getting a little bit more of the meat of the game. But I did want to mention. I don't think I mentioned him on my Monday show. Number 21 Evans, and I might have been. He was the backup quarterback to Montgomery, and I really like what I saw from him on last Sunday. He ran for 34 yards. And I think he caught a pass, and I like him more than that Edner, number 25, that rookie. I like this Evans guy a lot, and I'm hoping that he is going to be backing up Montgomery because he looked pretty darn good. So throw him in there and see what we got. They took him off the practice squad last week for the Jets game, so throw him in this week. Again, we're not going anywhere. Season's over, so let's see what we got. So we know going into next season and the draft, and well, we're not gonna go after running back in free agency, but you never know. They could pick up another running back in the draft. So, but I'd like to see Evans 21 in there this week. I let's see if it was a fluke or he is good. Might have another diamond in the rough. So these, you know what? I've been thinking about this a lot with these. How we lost Mooney in the Atlanta game and Eddie Jackson in the Atlanta game. And no, we lost them last week in the Jets game. Duh. Okay. Sorry, Lynn. We lost Brisker and Gordon in the Atlanta game with the concussions, and we saw what that looked like last week playing the Jets. We really, really miss them. And then Mr. Mooney went down in the Jets game, and so did Eddie Jackson's, and they're both bad. They're done for the year. Eddie's worried me a little bit more because his was non-contact, and when I saw him laying on the field, I thought, oh boy. And we're going to miss these two greatly. But this is my theory on these late injuries all of a sudden we're getting. And we've got a very late bye. Our bye is not until after this Sunday's game. And then after that, we only have 4 games left. So a late bye like that really is tough because these players are tired. They've been playing their hearts out. They've got injuries. They're banged up. And I was saying on my other show that maybe if we had a bye in the middle of the season, maybe 9 weeks into the season, maybe these injuries don't happen to Mooney and Eddie Jackson because their bodies are tired, their muscles are tired, their ligaments are tired. So when they're tired, it's hard to get going, and that's when injuries can happen. So I'm not a conspiracy theory person. This is just a theory that, had we had an earlier bye, maybe these two major injuries don't happen. Now, the Brisker and Gordon one, that's concussion, that's different. But these two were major injuries to their legs. So I don't know. That's just something to think about. Think about what I said, and it's not going to change anything, but you wonder. You really wonder if that could be what contributed to it. I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you think I'm like crazy or what? But that's my thought on that. And I wanted to give, we're going to talk about the Bears game now. Okay, so Green Bay is not much better than we are. Of course, they got a better quarterback because Justin is still young. And the one thing I will say, when I was watching Trevor last week, I actually thought he was going to have some more yards, but that Jets have a very good defense. That's why the Jets have a winning record. It's not because their offense; it was because of their defense, and it showed. Remember, I told you going into that game now they have 34 sacks, and that's a lot for a defense, and they just played really well. But Trevor Siemian, and this is the one thing that Fields still has to learn. He's got a lot to learn to do. He's got to learn to get that ball out of his hand quicker. And I don't know if he's not reading the defenses quickly enough, or his receivers are just not getting open for him where he's got the confidence level to throw the ball. But Trevor was getting rid of that ball. That's why he was only sacked twice last week, opposed to, what we usually have, 4 to 6 to 8 sacks a game. And that's the one thing Justin has to learn. He's got to read the defenses quicker, and he's got to get rid of that ball. And as I was saying a couple weeks ago, we do have to, other people are saying it now, the Bears have got to start throwing. We know he can run, but they got to start throwing because they have to show the league that next year they want to be a throwing team. And we got to see if Fields has got it in him. I know the offensive line is a problem. Then, you know what? Then design throws on the run. Just run them out to the side. Don't even let him stand in the pocket right now. Just get him out and let him throw the ball. We need to get a lot more downfield passes. We know he can hit the short ones. He can hit us cutoff guy. He can hit the short 10 to 12, 15-yard passes, but we got to see him start completing these long ones that he keeps overthrowing. Overthrowing is a big problem for him. So, of course, now Mr. Mooney's out. Claypool's got to step up big time. And I said, Harry, God only knows where that guy is. We went and got him in the offseason, and we're not even using him. Pettis, you got Pringle, St. Brown. These guys got to step up. Of course, Cole Kmet, our tight end, and David Montgomery. He's a catcher. That's it. That's another thing is, I see these things on Facebook and this and that. People are like, oh, Saquon Barkley's coming here next year. No, he's not, people. Number one, he's got a fifth-year option because he went first round. And any rookie that goes to the first round, they have a 4-year contract with an option for a fifth. And New York has already picked up his fifth-year option. So he's not going anywhere unless they decide to trade him, and the Bears aren't going to do that. First of all, they don't need him. They've got Montgomery, who I know his contract's up, but sign him. He's a very reliable running back. He can block for you, and he can catch. And he's been with the team 4 years. And you got Herbert, who's going to be back next year, who has just been lighting it up this season. And they're different runners, so they complement each other. So I just don't see David going and asking for a super shit ton of money. The Bears certainly can afford it. He's a good, solid running back. He's not Saquon Barkley that high. So the Bears should re-sign him. I really believe it. And Barkley, this is his 4th year now. He was hurt. We actually tore his ACL 2 years ago in Chicago. And I'm just not a believer on some of these real high draft picks that come out, running backs that ran all 4 years in college. I believe they run out of steam after 4, 5, 6 years in the league, and then they're pretty much done. So let's forget about that because Barkley ain't coming. And we don't need them, people. We got Montgomery and Herbert. Bears just signed Montgomery. Okay. So to win this game, obviously Justin has to play. He's got to be healthy, and he's got to play well. So that means the offensive line really needs to step up. We need to get the running game going. David Montgomery has got to get going. Put Evans in there, nice little change up, and we got to run the ball down them. They've got a good defense. They really do. So that's going to be a problem. And then, of course, our defensive line, which is just pathetic. Will any of these guys make the team next year? I mean, they will, because if you get better players around them, then other players that are average do tend to step up and everybody. But our defensive line is embarrassingly awful. Our linebackers really not much better. Jack Sanborn's the only one that's standing out now after 4 games he started. Monroe had number 55. He's had some good, you see him and then you don't. And then you see him do something and then it's like 3 quarters later and so he's not consistent. Sanborn has been the most consistent. And you watch number 57 this week. Keep an eye out for him. He's got, I told you last week, all those tackles, 48 tackles. I think it's 48. 29 solo, 12 assists, 2 sacks, and a 1 almost interception, which I count that as an interception. That fucking penalty took it back. But Sanborn is definitely a bright spot for us. So this kid could get better and better. So that's one good thing. So, but our backfield with Brisker and Gordon being out is gonna hurt too. Rodgers is pretty much gonna probably eat us up. Now, you never know. Any team can be beaten on any given day. Look at Philadelphia a couple weeks ago, went in and they were undefeated and they lost to the Washington Commanders. So you never, ever know. So Rodgers said he wants to play because it's Bears week. And I know that's why Justin wants to play. We're banged up. We're going in hurt. We're limping in. We were limping in before we were hurt. But with those two guys out in the backfield, the defense is going to be sorely hurting. And the defensive line, I don't know, guys. You gotta. You know what? I don't care what you do after the bye. The rest of the games, we've got Philadelphia, Bills, Detroit, and Minnesota. And actually, starting this week, there are 5 out of the so there's 5 games left starting Sunday, and 4 out of the 5 are at home, so that helps. The only one away is at Detroit. But muster it up, Bears, man. Just give us fans a win. If any win comes the rest of the season, every fan in the world that loves the Bears wants them to beat the damn Packers. We are so done with this. I know it's going to turn around next year too, but I want it to start now. Damn it. I'm sick of them always winning, and I'm sick of Rodgers. Although I could say we could knock him out, and then Jordan Love will come in and probably chew us up. So, but we'll see. So the Bears, to win this game, then I've got my threes. I always say it. Penalties, time of possession, and turnovers. They lost 2 out of the 3 last week. So you have to have 5 or less penalties to be in the game and to win it. The 2 losses against Atlanta and the team before that, which I can't think of, they were atrocious. They had 8 and 9, 8 penalties in one game and 9 in the other, and it was just terrible. They only had 1 last week, but it just didn't matter. Time of possession, why it's so important. You got to win that. Because like I always say, keeps your offense on the field, their defense on the field, so you can wear their defense out. It keeps our defense off the field and fresh, and it keeps their offense off the field. And we keep Aaron Rodgers. So time of possession's huge. And turnover battle, we lost that. We had no turnovers last week. They had 1. We got to win the turnover battle. That's another thing we're just not very good at. And that's just not really, when you think about it, when was the last time we really said our Bears defense was this overall bad? I know it has been a long time. So we got to get some interceptions on Rodgers, and it's possible because he's hurting. And if you get in his face, you don't necessarily even have to sack him. I'd like to see it a few times this week, guys. Get in his face, you can fluster him, and he'll throw one. He definitely will. So, come on, Bears. I know you guys are defeated like us fans. I can only imagine. I know how bad it feels, and I'm a fan, so it's got to be worse. I know the players say, oh, blah, 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 blah. They do all the talk, but it hurts. It hurts. But I will give props to Coach Flus because he's got these guys. This is a team. These guys love each other, and they are all in. So that's about the only bright spot that's helped us this season is they are all in. And as I said, We drank the Kool-Aid, so we know 2023 is going to be better, so we just got to get to it. And people, it's around the corner because, look, it's December 2nd already. So, that's the thing. I couldn't wait for football season this year. I couldn't wait. I was so excited, so excited. And then it got a little bit worse each week. And last week, really, as I said before, took the wind out of all of our sails, I think. But we've got to support our team. Do not pile on. They're trying their best with the talent they have. So in 2023, Poles has got a lot of work to do in the draft and free agency. So, Bears, let's just get a damn win on Sunday, please. That's all I want for Christmas. Please, Santa. Please. Or maybe another gift or two. Anyways, so yeah, just keep your chin up. Try to find the positives. This Sunday's game is not going to be as bad as last week's Sunday's game, I hope. So let's go, Bears. Let's go. And I wanted to give a shout out to a subscriber that has been watching from day one, and I did my live podcast on Wednesday. I do a podcast with my buddy. His tag name is Bears Country Podcast, and the show title is The Down Low with Lynn and Dan, or The Down Low with Dan, Lynn, whatever. And people were sending questions in, and Collins K85, thank you, because you watch this show all the time. I know you do because you make comments. And you watched Wednesday's show because your name came up. So thanks a lot, man. I really appreciate that. I do. And as I said, my show, I usually average, and it's not, very impressive compared to some people, but up until 2 weeks ago, I was averaging over 100 a show viewers, which I'm groovy with, But now that they're not so good, it's going down. So I don't know. I know people, you don't want to hear about them, but at least turn me on. I'm going to make you laugh. And who would not want to look at this face? Come on, man. Woo. Come on. Yeah, so if you like my show, hit like, subscribe. Check me out on Wednesday nights, like I told you on the podcast. Bears Country Podcast, title name Down Low with Dan and Lynn. And, we've been having a blast. And he has another show that he does. It's called on the Barroom Network. He does it Monday nights with a couple guys. And they've asked me to join him this coming Monday night. So I'll be on that. That's also a live show. So look at me. I'm Sandra D. Some of you youngsters don't know what that means, but that's okay. So, as always, I love you. Let's get a fucking win on Thursday. Come on. Thursday. What is wrong with me? It's pickled, remember? Pickled. Too many of these and too much of that. Sunday. Let's get a win. Let's beat those damn Packers. And let's turn the tide starting this Sunday in Soldier Field. Right? Okay, thank you for watching. I love you. I'm still trying to get to 400 subscribers. Kind of slow right now, but that's all right. It's cool. If I had 25 subscribers, I would do this show anyways because I love it. I started it. This is my third season. I started during COVID, and there's nothing more that I like is watching the Bears and talking about them. And when wearing Bear stuff, I have more Bear. My sister keeps saying, why do you ask for Christmas? There's Christmas lists going around. Why do you need more Bears shirts or Bears this? Hey, you cannot have enough of them. And there are 7 days in a week, right? Anyways, love you guys. Keep on watching. Be kind to one another. Help one another out. Stop hate. Inspire change. It just, don't be mean. Some asshole in the store for Walmart yesterday. Seriously, I'm not kidding you. I was in line for the checkout. It's everything's self-checkout. And I was first one in line, and this one guy and his wife and their stupid little dog go running ahead of me. And I was just about to go get in that, cube to check out, and they took it. And I'm like, hey, man, you cut in front of me. Not cool. And he heard me, right? And that's all I said. And so then I was right there, so I was checking out, and then he walks by when he was leaving, and you know what he said to me? He said, "Fuck you, you old lady." I'm like, oh my God. I said, "Excuse me?" He goes, "That you heard me, fuck you." And he said it, and there was the ladies that kind of supervised standing there. I go, "You gonna let him do that?" And they're like, I mean, is there a call for that? I just said, "Hey, man, you're cutting in front of me." I swear that's all I said. And, and second of all, his wife looked older than me. I'm just saying. So watch who you're calling an old lady. And you know what I was pissed about the most is that I didn't come back with a good comeback. I was so shocked that he said it because that's not like me. I'm usually pretty good, and I should have said something like, "Ooh, you're a real man." So why do you do that? Just smile. Some other people came up to me after that happened, and they're like, "Are you okay?" "Oh my God, how rude!" It was nice. I'm like, "Yeah, I'm cool. He's a jerk, whatever." And but so there's just no room for that. Just smile and be nice to one another. Please, it's hard enough out there. Do that for me. Okay, I'm done preaching. And I love you guys. Go Bears and bring us home a W. And if they win on Sunday, I will sing the victory song on Monday. Yeah. All right, I love you guys. And as always, keep on rocking and rolling from Vegas, baby.